very lucky to have him here, and he's going to show a video and talk a little bit about his experience on the space station, and then we'll have a lot of time for questions and answers. Now, of course, the reason you all are here probably is because you probably followed him on Twitter and saw all the wonderful photos he took from the space station and sent down to us. That some of you may know that he was also the first person to check in space. He checked into the International Space Station on Foursquare on October 22nd, and that launched a partnership between NASA and Foursquare. And
on orbit, he's the gentleman who actually just returned less than 12 hours ago from the space station. He had taken over command of the space station after I left, and I sent him an email and said, man, you better check in twice if you want to consider this. If you want to put mayor on your resume when you get back home. So it's great to be here. This is a lot of fun. We're going to try to be very, very informal. I did want to show you some video here in just a minute, but I wanted to tell you a little bit about our mission and actually my experience with tweeting, because who kind of went into this tweeting world kicking and screaming? I mean, anybody? Okay. I was the same, you know, about a year ago. I didn't have a Twitter account, and I was highly encouraged by NASA to keep up actually some good work that had been started on the space station by TJ Creamer and also Suichi Noguchi, who has a tremendous amount of followers, and to start this tweeting, continue this tweeting from space, and I was going to bridge the gap to the next crew that was coming up, and I politely declined because I thought, you know, I investigated a little bit, and what I didn't understand, what I understand now, is the power of this type of media. But I looked at it as, I looked at those 140 characters, you know, and I thought, man, first of all, I don't know if I could be that brief, you know, and to me it was sort of like a soundbite, you know, and I thought, you know, this experience, I've trained so long and so hard for this experience, and I knew that what I was going to see out those windows was going to be very profound and life-changing, and then especially going outside to do these spacewalks. We originally had one scheduled planned. Tracy and I were going to go outside, and we scrapped that one. We actually ended up doing 3 sort of emergency contingency spacewalks, and the rest is history, but we spent a lot of time outside. And I knew that I wanted to be just a little bit deeper than the soundbite, you know? And what I wasn't realizing and picking up on is what you guys all know, is the power and the transformation of this tweet once it hits the internet. And that's what happens after you tweet. That's the real power in this type of media, I think. And you know, it's obviously a great way to kind of keep track of each other and where you're going, what you're doing. But you know, to take a picture that I was viewing of our planet, whether it was a celestial event like aurora or something, or a comet, or something beautiful that I was witnessing on the surface of the planet, or something as terrific and awe-inspiring as a hurricane, I thought, how am I going to limit to 140 characters what I'm actually feeling right now, looking down into the eye of a hurricane? And but I realized pretty quickly that I didn't have to worry about that, because all you guys took care of the rest. You know, I just needed to get the picture out there, and the rest, it was going to take care of itself, because it's literally a global discussion that goes on, and it goes viral pretty quickly, and I had to be careful, because I actually got in trouble early on, because you guys were actually getting these tweet pictures before NASA was getting the official photos from space, so I sort of got the cart before the horse, and I got politely scolded. You know, it's like, hey, I got a phone call on a private line on board the space station. It's like, hey, we don't want you doing this Twitter thing, but when you tweet a photo, make sure that we have it, because we get a request coming in for the high resolution photo, which, you know, with these cameras that we have on board, some of these images are 20, 25 megs for an image, you know, so I was having to shrink them down to, I was using TwitPic. I tried ping FM, and some of you guys scolded me. It's like, ping's not coming through, so, and, so I'm sorry for that bad press, but I think Scott Kelly was using ping, and it was working for him. For some reason, I don't know if it was my technique or something, but so I went back to TwitPic, and so I had to kind of pull those back a little bit and rein them in before, and so I was making sure I was downloading these photos, so when you guys asked for those high-resolution photos, that NASA can politely say, yes, we have that for you, we'll send it to you. And so I kind of got the cart before the horse and got scolded a little bit. So fortunately, it was before I took command of the space station, so I wasn't in trouble. My command wasn't in trouble anyway. But so the event of going through, first of all, launching on the Soyuz spacecraft was quite an adventure, and that's where it all kind of started. Now that Soyuz is really little, and you'll see in this film we took 6 months of our lives and boiled it down into about 12 minutes of video here. And the other thing that I didn't quite understand, not until I got back, was what a broad spectrum of a global society we can connect with using this type of power. Now I think now, after we went to Las Vegas and I saw these different companies that are looking for a way to not only connect with each other inside their company, but connect with a customer base and everything else. The power of this is just tremendous. And so I had an opportunity to launch on the space shuttle back in 2007, and so I was real anxious to compare the two vehicles, the Soyuz and also to the space shuttle. And I'll have to tell you that the space shuttle is really a pretty elegant machine, and Tracy and I were together this morning, and she described it just perfectly. It's like, we design just contingency backup equipment in our space shuttle to, so if things fail, we have another system that can come back up online and take over that duty. So we have redundancy built into the space shuttle that's just like pure magic, Now it's the opposite on the Russian side, where the beauty is in the simplicity of in the robustness of the design. And so it's a very, very simple vehicle, and it's really pretty simple to learn. The hardest part of the training is learning the Russian language. Who speaks Russian? I know we got some folks from Russia, and if you're not a native speaking Russian, it's a difficult language to learn. And my cosmonaut buddies have told me that English is actually pretty difficult to learn as well if it's not your first language. And so that was probably the biggest hurdle that I had in my training. But then launching on this vehicle, it seemed to go okay, and I wasn't sure. A little bit of Motrin got me through the 3 hours on the launch pad with my knees in my chest, but then riding that vehicle up. Now I was comparing it to my background